Moving into our new house was supposed to be the start of a fresh chapter for my family. The old Victorian-style home had charm and character, and we were excited about its history. Little did we know, it held dark secrets that would soon unravel our lives. From the moment we moved in, I felt uneasy. There was something off about the house, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. My unease was compounded by the fact that the basement door was always locked. My parents said it was probably just a storage area, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it. One evening, while my parents were out, I decided to investigate. I found an old set of keys in a kitchen drawer and tried them on the basement door. To my surprise, one of them worked. The door creaked open, revealing a steep, dark staircase leading down into the depths of the house. I grabbed a flashlight and descended the stairs. The basement was cold and damp, filled with old furniture and dusty boxes. As I shone the flashlight around, I noticed strange symbols etched into the walls. They looked ancient and sinister, sending a shiver down my spine. I was about to head back upstairs when I heard a faint noise, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. There was no response, just the eerie silence of the basement. I turned to leave, but the whispering started again, louder this time. It was coming from a dark corner of the room. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. In the corner, I found an old, battered trunk. The whispers grew louder as I got closer, and I could now make out a single word: help. I opened the trunk and found a collection of old photographs and letters. They belonged to a young girl named Lydia, who had lived in the house over a century ago. The letters detailed her descent into madness, plagued by visions and voices she couldn't escape. Suddenly, the basement door slammed shut, and the whispers turned into frantic cries for help. Panicked, I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The cries grew louder and more desperate, and I felt an icy hand grip my shoulder. I spun around, but there was no one there. The basement was empty, yet I could feel a presence, cold and malevolent. Desperate to escape, I grabbed the trunk and used it to break a small window near the ceiling. I crawled out, cutting myself on the broken glass, and ran back into the house. The basement door was wide open, as if inviting me back in, but I slammed it shut and locked it, my hands shaking. I told my parents what had happened, but they were skeptical. They thought I had let my imagination get the better of me. However, the atmosphere in the house changed after that night. The whispers started to seep through the walls, and cold spots appeared throughout the house. My parents began to experience strange occurrences as well. Doors opening on their own, objects moving, and the feeling of being watched. One night, I woke up to find Lydia standing at the foot of my bed. Her eyes were hollow, and she looked gaunt and terrified. She pointed towards the basement and whispered, "You have to help me." Before I could react, she vanished, leaving me paralyzed with fear. The next day, I decided to do some research. I discovered that Lydia had been locked in the basement by her abusive father, who believed she was possessed. She died down there, alone and afraid, and her spirit had been trapped ever since. Determined to set her free, I returned to the basement with a plan. I brought a priest and some friends for support. We performed a cleansing ritual, praying for Lydia's soul and asking for her release. The atmosphere in the basement grew heavy, and the whispers turned into anguished screams. We persisted, and finally, there was a deafening silence. The temperature returned to normal, and the oppressive feeling lifted. I felt a sense of peace wash over me, as if Lydia had finally found her rest. The house was quiet after that, and the strange occurrences ceased. My family could finally live in peace, and I knew that Lydia was free. But sometimes late at night, I still hear faint whispers, reminding me of the darkness that once dwelled in our basement. I can only hope that Lydia has truly found the peace she deserved, and that no other restless spirits will find their way into our home.